Okay, I'm going to call the Weathersfield School Board meeting to order September 9th at 6:30. And we'll start off with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any changes or additions to the agenda? I think John had something he wanted to add to the agenda, another fun history lesson for us all.
Real close. Last meeting, I started what I hope will be kind of a tradition, at least for a while, of reading some excerpts from some really old town reports from the superintendent. And last meeting, the superintendent's concern was that the kids were whispering. And I think tonight you'll hear something it's a different superintendent and the emphasis is really different. First, a couple of quick things. Board books are reported in the school library on number 1 last year have been increased to 26. One school now has a Webster dictionary. That's the good part. There are no statistics by which I can ascertain how many. It's interesting to listen to how someone back, and incidentally, this is from 1888. The words that people used and how they at least this person spoke a little bit different than we tend to do today. There are no statistics to which I can ascertain how many pupils of school age are not in our schools. A commendable effort has been made in some of our districts so the provisions of law requiring attendance were carried out. Then it goes on. The law requiring a study of physiology has been faithfully carried out. It's an experiment which I have watched with interest and find myself in close of the year hearty sympathy with the work. It takes time to be sure that the laws of health are primary importance. No great moral or intellectual attainments can be expected from one who is not a sound body. It is in the power of the educated school teacher to do much to correct the hereditary tendencies to disease. Think about that one, what the guy's saying. The ignorance of which is the mother of many ills in life. Now it gets really bad. When young girls in our boarding school are found to have contracted the opium habit, and daily press is telling of boys dying at the age of 15 from cigarette smoking, it is time to note the alarm and sound in a different direction.
Wow.
Yikes.
1888. Jeez, the girls are on opium in the blood. Wow. So much they're dying. Oh my goodness. That was very interesting. Thanks, John. I guess things don't seem as bad now after hearing that.
No, really.
And Vincent, you had a report on
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. I can quickly talk about. I went to open house, which was very well attended. I think there was more people than ever at this open house. Food was served. We got to meet teachers. Parents got to meet teachers. I believe the kindergartners were there. Yep. Kindergartners were there. I was able to talk to a lot of parents and, sort of talk about what we do here a little bit and actively, hopefully engaging them in our process. So it was a good experience for that.
Great. Did anyone else have anything? I didn't.
We get to this.
You guys have similar. Yeah. Great. All right. Up next, we have the approval of the minutes from August 12th, which we have a copy of here. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes from August 12th.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Vincent made the motion. Is there any discussion? Changes? I didn't see anything. Okay, so we'll just all vote yay or nay approve the minutes?
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aye. And, so that's approved, and, we'll move on to public participation. Do we have any public participation? No? Any online?
No.
Okay. All right, and then we're on to our administrative report.
All right, thank you. So our lead learner reports for September 9th of 2025. We're going to mix it up a little bit today than we usually do in our quarter. So first off, we are going to start off with Rebecca Town, who's going to talk to us about a possible music fundraiser that will be coming up. And then we'll have Diana Stilson do it right after her. So
Hello. Do you mind if we-
sure.
Okay. I am hoping to do a bake sale on Saturday. One of our band parents approached us that works at the Proctor Library and asked if we would want to do a bake sale for during the annual book sale, which goes from 9 to 1. She said we're open to be there anytime in between. I know I have kids that are wanting to both make food and be there to sell food. We are once again fundraising for our trip to Six Flags. We're switching to Great Escape this year. I'm thinking roughly the same budget, but we are looking at fundraising almost $3,000 this year, so we have 30 kids going. Last year, it was an awesome experience for our kids. We joined in with Windsor and Heartland to make a SU band. We did a send-off concert, a full day rehearsal on that Thursday, and then a send-off concert for our upcoming band eligible kids who are the third and fourth or second, third graders. And we didn't go for adjudication this year for competitive, but when we got scored back, we actually had the highest score for band. And I think we were third for choir, and one of the students from London actually got the top solo for the festival. So that's awesome. So we're looking forward to that again, but it is a big step, so we're going to be fundraising for the whole thing.
Thank you. And our band and chorus numbers have increased significantly this year, so it shows that we're building the program, so that Becca's doing a great job with bringing more kids into band and chorus. So thank you, Becca. Diana?
Diana Stilson, 8th grade advisor, co-ed 8th grade advisor with now start. We want to do our usual thing. We're around December time. I'm not talking to BJ yet, but we'll find a date around December time to do that basket. Not a basket, the regular raffle like a TV or computer or something like that, fundraising for the 8th grade trip in May or June. And then later on in the year, we'd like to do our raffle baskets. In the spring, you know, around April, we have feet, like 8 baskets or 10 baskets like we do each year. We are checking into, we've been in touch with Kelly O'Brien, possibly, not this year, but possibly next year when we do the car show. But anyways, we'd like the approval of those two fundraisers for the 8th graders for their class trip.
All right, thank you. That's further down the items to be able to do that. All right, next we have a facilities update from our Director of Facilities, Mr. Jim Taft.
Oh, no.
Now,
The stuff that I was asked to do, the first, I would like to take a minute. The first thing is, we're finalizing with Bisbee the permitting and everything that they approved to get your swing set in. Because I never had, before they were right on site, but basically what it is there's they have the state regulations, and they have to meet the manufacturer's regulations. So, and then they're gonna come out and look at it. So as soon as it's approved, we'll get a group together and put it in. That's the update on the swing. The second thing, before we get into this, is on the 22nd, I've got a Efficiency Vermont will be here to do a lighting inspection for cost analysis if everything is right. And they also have a lighting program that we may or may not be interested in. I'll know more about that after the meet on the 22nd. Now we get into the money. So I was chartered to come here for like the 5-minute plan. You can look and see up on the board.
We should do the Weathersfield.
There you go.
Yes. Oh, God, I thought it was all ready. We can get to Weathersfield. That helps, right? There you
Here we are. So the
That's what we have.
17,000
go. Yeah.
the 17,000 for 25-26, that we deemed the most important thing. It says circulator pumps, as I showed you all the pumps. circulator pump and rebuild. That would, the 17,000 would, if we approved it, I think would put us in great shape. So we have one that needs a motor, we replace one, and I rebuild the seal kit on the second one. The next item on that, if you look, is the wood chip control panel. The reason that's on there is I talked to Matt Coburn from Weathersfield quite a bit, and like we talked before, there's a few, it's running, you know, it's not running now, but it's been working beautifully. He just, when I called him to make sure about all this, he just updated me again. He said, Jim, we still have some parts, but they're dwindling out. And at some point, you better budget 25. I might be able to make it less. I think less would mean we do some of the work, which is perfectly fine by me. But he said, you better talk to him about budgeting 25 at some point. If the panel goes, we're not using the wood chip oil. And then the third biggest thing that we rated third that we needed was a domestic expansion tank. That's the big tank. Remember when I took you out back to the boiler room where it was leaking? It's still leaking. We try to make it leak as little as possible, but that also would be one of the top three things which we would fix to be mechanically sound. People ask about AC. All our big AC out here is 15 plus years old, but nothing's been at the point where it needs to be totally changed. Like we can still get parts, we can still fix it. So that's how that didn't creep up onto the top three.
And these funds would all come from the capital reserves?
Right.
From the budget?
If you choose to do
If we have to go that way.
Yeah, which Larry has done.
Yeah, we'll have a balance
So
there.
none of these three have been budgeted previously, is anything over?
I mean, you could, in your budgeting process, if you wanted to, put those items in your budget and leave your capital reserve intact, or you can vote to, spend some of your capital reserve on those items.
And is this something we have to decide tonight, or we can decide it when the budget comes along?
I would just ask you for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
You don't have to do it
The only
tonight.
thing I would really love is 17 for this year would be awesome.
Yes.
So this year's budget's already been done, so that would come from the capital reserve. Okay, so that's, A on the items for discussion, budgeting priority. Oh, no, that's,
Yeah, I think that was
That
what
was
what we were talking about, yeah.
so it would fall under that.
Yeah.
Is that's the oil system you're talking about for the circulator?
Circulator pump is a wood chip.
Oh, that's the wood chip.
The top one is the wood chip boiler.
So the circulator pump and the wood chip boiler are both for the wood chip boiler?
The
Or,
circulator pump up top is one of the ones, the big ones on the floor that you see,
okay,
which is one of the main for the wood chip boiler.
okay.
So I have a question about the 25,000, that's the cost to replace the panel
The panel,
if we needed a new
if
panel.
we needed a new panel, if
And we
something
could-
happens, we don't have any parts.
I was gonna
Punch it
say,
on the code,
Okay.
that's that.
Right. If we were to stock parts for however much that is,
Excuse
would
me.
that extend the life of the panel if you were stocking parts like that you
I
have?
don't know, I didn't ask that question, I could see if, what he has for parts that we could buy from him.
Yeah, would you feel safer if we had these on hand?
Well,
Now.
my biggest fear every night in the winter when I go to bed is that schools aren't gonna open in the morning. Because as soon as I get an alarm, I'm like, oh, Jesus,
Yeah.
I'm throwing up.
Right.
So, yeah, would I feel comfortable if we had parts could fix it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very much so.
I think it's important if we could find out what that cost is to have
Because
them
right now, we have.
on hand,
Because right now.
because
we
you
have
can't just get a panel overnight either.
Right. The last time we had to get a part from him and he special ordered, it took us 2 days.
Right.
So we're running oil and then.
Right.
We're hoping everything will go there.
All right.
So, yeah, if you could give us an
Yeah.
idea of how much that would cost
Yeah.
to stock
And
parts.
I'll see what he has for parts.
Yeah.
Okay.
If the, work needs to be done, changing this stuff out, when would you want the board to vote on the 26, 27 funds?
Well, we couldn't,
Like before
Would you-
summer?
the wood chip control panel, that, we could do that anytime. That's
Okay.
just taking it, that's not gonna interrupt anybody. The, domestic hot water expansion tank, that's definitely a summer.
Summertime
That would have
project.
to be done in the summer. Unless something happens and it blows up, we're gonna change it, but if not, that's a summer deal.
And then the circulator pump rebuild is something we want to do sooner than later.
Which one?
The circulator pump, the rebuild.
I would love to do
That he would like.
We want to do that
to
before
tonight.
we get.
Yeah.
All right.
I would love to be able
Yeah,
to
so
do
we do that, we should-
that.
On the control panel, is the program current enough that the program can just be dumped into a new one?
Well, the
Or,
last time, I don't know if I'm, qualified to answer that completely. but
okay,
the last
that's
time-
good.
The last time I had a problem like that, I called Matt and it was 3 days and he was programming it as they sent the piece.
Okay,
So.
but the program is still, I forget the manufacturer, but it's still supported by them.
I believe so.
Okay.
For how much longer, I don't know, but I believe it is.
And I remember our walkthrough where we were discussing what to do when this, I think this company was going out of business or transitioning. And maybe this in Michigan, does that sound right? Maybe, does that sound right to anyone? Yeah, this Mac guy was flying here from Michigan.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
think.
goes through everywhere. Mexico,
Okay.
there's one person, yeah.
Yeah, so is there like homework being done on what do we do if these parts just don't exist in the future, if the software is not there,
But
something like that?
it was 2 weeks ago when he called me and told me, he gave me a alert about this. I never thought that, it never crossed my mind to ask him about pre-buying.
Right.
The first immediate question I had to him was, what will we have to do if we can't get the parts?
Right.
And that's when he told me, you should make sure you're budgeting somewhere around 25,000. I could get it a little cheaper, but that's what it's gonna cost you, the whole panel.
Right, but this company is still on board, like they're gonna stay with us.
The
Okay.
only problem that we have, like I said, with Michigan is that they only have 2 service people.
Right, okay, right.
Everywhere.
Right.
We're just lucky we got.
So if we had the parts on hand, we may avoid a problem if this guy can't get here for a week.
Correct.
Okay.
He will definitely, through the night or whatever, stay on I've been on the phone with him numerous times. He'll stay with you until you get it fixed.
Yeah.
Or you can't, one of the two.
All right.
Good.
He's gonna leave.
Okay.
Done with him.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. And then Jess was able to make it here, so you're up next, Jess, with our PTO report. How was the soccer game first off?
Yeah, they won.
Nice.
We're on the season. So PTO reports pretty quick and simple this month. Cog off is next Friday, so if you guys can, please come out and support PTO. At the Cog off, we have a ton of fun activities planned. It's 5 to 8. We have over 50 prizes, to be dropped to the prize card. Paws are only $1 each, so if anybody wants to buy paws before the end of the night before you leave, let me know, or Karina, or whoever. As many as you want. Chance to win one of 50 great prizes, like 50 inch flat screen TV, a kid's bike, gift cards, like everything for adults and kids. So that's pretty great. And then the only other really update we have is our school spirit wear apparel is for sale. We have it online. It's open 24/7, 365. So anybody can go online and order it out of Springfield. So keeping it local, the company's out of Springfield. So that's there. We'll want to go and place an order for their Weathersfield spirit wear and support PTO, support the school. That's all I have.
Thank you, Jess. Appreciate it. All right, Carrie Jewell, Athletic Director.
Okay, so this season, we have 133 athletes signed up, 123 on soccer, 10 on cross country. We are fielding all levels, both boys and girls. We have a full schedule. We are having sports photos taken on Monday. So Denise Hunter out of Springfield takes photos of every team, every individual athlete that's there, and then parents have the option of ordering pictures or just getting a digital download. And then Denise allows us to use the photos for promotional stuff. We used the team photos in the yearbook, and she gives all of that to us at no cost. So we really appreciate that. So that's Monday night. Tomorrow, middle school soccer has our season opening games. They're our first ones of the season, and cross country has their first meet on Friday. we have found that middle school sports are really having a hard time with numbers. So I use some of the big places, like I talked about Windsor and Bellows Falls. They don't have middle school soccer. Heartland is co-ed, and Plainfield is co-ed. So we haven't been able to get a bunch of games for our middle school teams. But I did get an email from the athletic director who's new at Bellows Falls that wants to talk about maybe a middle school league, which would, I don't know a lot about it, but it would be some sort of like co-op where we kind of have an automatic built-in schedule where we all get the same amount of games, just to help with numbers match co-ed more with co-ed. So that's something I'll be diving into this fall. I think that's about all for soccer. We handed out uniforms, and I just did the last teams tonight. But I do have a booster club update. So they've received signed sponsorships that are hanging out on the fence from 16 area businesses, including one donated by Miss Small's last year 5th grade class from their seed sale. They had money left over after they donated to another charity. And so they felt strongly about giving back to athletics. So they have a banner out there. And this puts us approximately halfway to the fundraising goal of the scoreboard for the field. Last spring, they hosted a baseball clinic led by Chad Sturgeon and Matt McCarthy. We've had them just about each year now. They do a really great job. And then over the summer, the Booster Club assisted myself with preparing fields, checking equipment. We ditched a bunch of old, outdated, busted, unsafe equipment, and transitioned between the spring and fall sports season. On Saturday, October 4th at noon will be our second annual soccer shootout, and that's for grades 3 through 8. It's just $10 for an athlete to register, and we'll have concessions. And they also attach to the PTO website, there are sports-specific merchandise options, and the proceeds from that go to Booster Club, and the generic kind of Weathersfield stuff goes to PTO. So we share that with them. Any questions?
Doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. All right, so with our supervisory union, we have a theme for the year, which is Stronger Together. But then I always have to do things a little different here at Weathersfield. And so I also have a motto. And so our motto this year is, you know what to do, do it. And so the rationale behind that motto is, sorry, it comes from something my grandfather used to tell me. And my grandfather turned 100 last year. He passed away in May this year. And so it's something that I've always held true to my heart. And it's something I always talk to kids about anyways and tell them about the character. And, you know, my grandfather's word was as good as gold. And we talk about all that character. So, you know what to do, do it. And so, you know, constantly with having those conversations with students, my own kids, plus students here at school, it's just something good. And it's nice to see that our kids are understanding. It's not saying do the right thing. It's saying, you know what to do, do it. So that's our motto this year. Staff loved it. So excited about it. And I'm not that teary-eyed today, so that's a good thing. All right. So one of the other things that we're doing now too is I'm doing a daily thought. And so each day the teachers wake up and most of them check their email first thing because they want to hear what I said. And so today's daily thought was maybe we shouldn't focus so much on being happy. Instead, perhaps we'd be better off finding joy. For many educators, that joy can be found within our kids. Take time to engage a child in conversation this week to rekindle the joy in your work. So it's just having teachers and staff be able to look at what we do and what something positive about kids and education every day. And, you know I find my joy every day when I come into classrooms and get to see kids learning and the excitement in their eyes. Our mission statement, the mission of Weathersfield Schools, prepare and empower students to be leaders with a global vision by helping them develop critical thinking, communication, collaboration skills, and creativity. That's up there every month, just so we understand what our mission is for our school. And student perspective. So we finalized, we have 5 students that really want to be either our school board rep / morning announcement student. So Christine and I are setting up interviews next Thursday, and we'll finish off interviewing those students and come up with, it's always a tough decision, but we'll come up with a student that will give us that right student perspective to be able to be a board member and also help out. We might end up having 2 board members, we'll see. I think because I really want to encourage that leadership model with our students and encourage the students to want to do it. So it's going to be tough. So we'll see how that goes. Student leadership, our student leadership class is up and running. They're planning a Spirit Week. They're starting that next week. They wanted it to coincide and have something exciting coming up, building up to Paw Drop. So that information is, kids have put it up. They made up their own flyers, so they're going home. And then they're also they've done Cat for Hats before, where they charge, because we don't allow hats in the building. And so they do charge $1 for kids to wear a hat for that day. And then they use that money and they donate it usually to a local humane society. Welcome back. So Vince talked a little bit about it, and so did Sarah and Megan. Pretty awesome event. I love it because it just helps with the anxiety for both students, families, and staff, because they get to meet their students. Families feel better and kids feel better. So we definitely have less tears on that first day of school and less students hanging on to their parents as they go. It's nice to be able to break bread with people and have our community out together. And like Vince said, it was the most well-attended one. And it's sort of become that expectation. I think you said that, Sarah, that it's like one of those things that we couldn't get rid of now at this point, that it's so important to our community, and our staff embraces it as well. It's a Monday night before school starts. This year we had an all-day PD, and so it was a little tough for staff and they were a little tired, but I think they appreciated it, being able to see their kids. I'm sure Diana's going to agree with me on that, but it is a great community event as well. See her smile, it shows that she agrees right there. So enrollment for FY26. So right now we're at 158 students in the elementary K through 5. Middle level, we're at 80 students, so about right where we were at when we started off the school year. A couple of kids just shifting, moving, things that they didn't notify us during the summertime. So we're right about where we were at. Safety drills. We did our first fire drill last Thursday, which was pretty great, especially for our students not doing one yet this year. Our teachers practiced. We had the fire chief and deputy fire chief from the Weathersfield Fire Department, as well as our deputy from the sheriff's department here. And they were all amazed that our kids hadn't done more of these yet. It was quiet. We had a couple things that we worked on that we noticed as a staff that like we could tweak this and that, but they thought it was pretty great. The fire department they're doing a first responder training here on the 23rd of this month. And then we are planning a big drill on the 10th of October, which is a non-student day, but it's going to be a big drill. So we'll have more to tell you guys about that later, but that's with the fire department, the sheriff's department, all of our first responders. So that will be coming up on the 10th. BAC, I have a couple of our BAC, or 3 of our BAC members. I have 1 online and 2 here in person. So Christian Craig is going to be on BAC again. Thank you, Christian, appreciate it. Ethan Brown is new to BAC this year, so we appreciate Ethan being here. And then Stacy Newsom is online as well, so thank you, Stacy. I sent you guys an email with the schedule as far as events. Hopefully those days work for you, but we can talk about it if they don't. So we've got our first 4 meetings tentatively scheduled. The first one is set up for next Thursday from 9:30 to 10:30. If you can't be here in person, you're more than welcome to join virtually. And then that way and then we'll year from that. If that day works for everybody, then I have like 3 more planned out, but we'll just make sure that works in everybody's schedule. I didn't want to overwhelm everybody yet.
That's
So
next Thursday?
Next Thursday,
From 9 to 10?
9:30 to 10:30. Virtual and or in person. So we had WISE here the last 2 weeks. Windsor County WISE program. And so they talk to students about safe choices, things that they need to do. And so they've been in every K through 5 classroom. It's a prevention education that is put on. Talks about safety, caring for their bodies, and skills for maintaining positive relationship. It was great to see the students and the WISE directors participating in that. And so our counselor leads that, Melissa Cole, for her SEL lessons for the first 2 weeks of school. And then next was something new that we did this year, Grandparents' Day. And that was pretty awesome. I don't know if anybody had any grandparents here or not. You have a couple. Oh, we even have a grandparent here. A couple of grandparents here. Grandparents. Yeah, it's not grandfathers, grandmothers. Fairly awesome. Like really awesome. Like I was a little bit blown away. We were a little bit nervous because it was supposed to rain and we were trying to figure out parking and everything else. The staff parked out in the field. And then we just had swarms of grandparents coming in. It was just constant. We had grandparents that drove 2 hours to get here. And they got to have breakfast and then coffee and donuts, which were provided, donuts were provided by our PTO, coffee was provided by our kitchen staff. And then they got to go in the classrooms and see some of the opening activities the kids do. Some of the teachers had activities planned. It was just like amazing to see that many people here and what our community brings out. So to see our grandparents be supporting this. So just an awesome overall event. We've already got plans. We were sitting there, you know, as things were happening, like, oh, we could do this differently. We really didn't think there was going to be as many. We knew there was going to be grandparents, but we thought we were going to have grandparents. But we didn't know there was going to be that many grandparents. So it was pretty awesome. So we'll figure it out, tweak it, and then we'll plan it again for that Friday before Grandparents' Day, because Grandparents' Day is always that first Sunday in September. We've got a couple pictures, and you can see the second picture there, the one on the left-hand side. That was just a quick shot from the stage of some of the grandparents that were in there, and that was only like half of them. And it was, I mean, there was just so many. So awesome event. So thank you very much. Leader in Me is up and going well in our school. 7 Habits, we're focusing on those. Our teachers just finished the first 8 days, which just gives an intense opening for all of our students for Leader in Me. So we're focusing now on Habit 1, being proactive. Our teachers have been putting up their mission statements. So there's a couple examples on the next slide of some mission statements, so that the students are aware of what they are doing and what they're believing in when they go into their classroom, which is great. So up and going. That's okay, you're good. And then we have our new science teacher that you met, Mr. Ripley. So he's been taking advantage of having kids go out, and they were doing some science observations since we've had such great weather, going outside, and you know, we have such a great area for just science. And so he's been able to go outside and spend time with kids out there. One of the other things that we've been working on too is our expectation presentations. So I've been going in, I went into every single classroom and went through and did a presentation for the students on what we expect out of them and behavior wise. What all the rules are, we condensed it down. Our 3 rules that we have here is about be respectful, be responsible, and be safe. We also added in there, you know, it's okay to be kind. It's important to be kind as well. And it's not always easy to be kind. We talked about all of that, gave them the nitty gritty of what could happen if they're breaking some of these rules, and went over that. The middle schools, I mean, it was all obviously age appropriate. Kindergarten was a little different than 8th grade, but it did give students that perspective. And it was nice to be able to have a small group in there and have a more captive audience. We do have a few students that missed it because they were absent, or the particular day that we went in there, because I did in the first 3 days of school. So we're catching up on those students. We'll pull them in still and have those expectations so that everybody is hearing the same thing across the board. So there's that universal one. And then we'll visit that at least 3 more times, or 3 times throughout the year. So we'll probably do it again in December, usually right after November break. December, right before the holidays, is usually a good time to hit it again. A lot of times hit it right after break when we come back in January. And then right when spring starts to hit, because students get a little bit more spring feverish, we start to hit that as well to go over that. And then we got a ton of upcoming events, starting off with our book fair next week. Our first budget advisory meeting on September 18th. Paw drop. 23rd, first responder training that I mentioned here. 24th is our 8th graders going to Hobart. 25th, we also have a budget advisory meeting, but I will make sure that's still going to hold, so don't put that on your calendars all yet. October 2nd, budget advisory, a lot of them going on. October 7th, picture day. October 9th, early release day for all students. October 10th is no school for students because it's professional development day. That's also the day that we're going to work on that school-wide drill. In the afternoon, we're doing professional development based on literacy in the morning, and then we're doing the drill in the afternoon. 13th is Indigenous People Day, no school that day. And then the 14th is our next board meeting. So brought you all the way up for a full month. And breathe.
I did, so the BAC, so did any teachers apply for the?
We threw it out to the teachers. We do have 1 staff member who volunteered to be on it. Kelly Ryan.
Kelly, okay. So
yeah.
the teachers happy with that amount of representation, or they just, I guess, they didn't apply, so.
They didn't apply, so.
Okay.
So we asked last week again at the staff meeting, said anybody want to be on there, and.
I mean, would it be because of the timing of the meeting? Like
I
during
was
school
gonna
day, or
adjust
maybe we
it,
could
I could have adjusted it for
Okay.
another time, but since we didn't have any
Okay.
school members are teachers on there, but we have a staff member on there, which is great.
I just wanted to make sure that they,
Yep.
that there
It
was
was
a
thrown
chance
out there.
given and, okay.
And then after you settle the times with the group, we would just email them out because we're gonna try to attend.
Yep. Absolutely.
Thank you.
So we'll just double check and make sure that works for everybody next week and then go from there.
All right, my turn. So again, it's the start of school, so I just want to share a little bit about how that went. We onboarded 9 new teachers this year, which is really a lovely number to onboard. In the past, it's been a lot higher. So 2 of those teachers are Weathersfield teachers, 2 Heartland and 5 Windsor. No turnover at Albert Bridge. So we had 2 days with new teachers to onboard them. Not nearly enough time, but we did accomplish a lot. We talked about our curriculum. They had a session with our tech department. They had time with the union. By law, they have to have time with the union. They spent time learning the new teacher licensing system, which went live this July. So we're all learning how to navigate the new licensing system. They had time with their mentors. They had a training on collaborative problem solving and trauma responses, which the whole supervisory union has had lots of training in. So we want to bring them up to speed. They had 7 habits training. Funny story, but not a funny story. Brian, who's one of the new district coaches, we have 3 in the SU. They were going to do their first 7 habits workshop as presenters, and we found a spot off campus at the Windsor Welcome Center. You know, they were a little nervous, but got everything ready, and we got there, and the power went out. And we tried to pivot. We went to the rec center in Windsor, and we were going to do it there, and then they were going to lose internet service very soon after we got there, so we sent everyone home, and then the power came right back on. So
Those that in Weathersfield, they didn't go on until like 3:30.
Right,
though,
that was right. So they're gonna find another time to do that training. I think there were five new teachers
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But we're very excited to have them, you know, coaches in district that can work with our teams. So that was the new teacher onboarding. Then the staff had 2 days of prep time in their classrooms to get their rooms set up, and that's guaranteed by the contract. And then we had professional development for 3 days. So we had a welcome back with the entire SU, which we tried to set the stage for the year, had a little bit of fun, had a great lunch served by our amazing kitchen staff. It was quite incredible. They did a taco bar, which met the needs of all kinds of different food, you know, allergies and preferences. So that was really great. Then there were some professional development times. So K-5 teams had grade level time across the SU, and they are working on they spent most of the time with Amplify, which this is their 3rd year. So they're more versed in it, feeling more confident in it, and able to determine which units make sense to be taught when across the calendar year, which ones, you know, really it's about what fits best where, what parts of the curriculum we're all going to use. There, you can never do all of it. And then they were working on assessments for the first few units that they're teaching, because we are asking all K-5 teachers to, at minimum, in Power School, which we've heard across the SU, it's not consistent. So they're all going to be uploading grades for the end of unit assessments. So they were going through those assessments and determining which questions they were going to ask, and they have latitude to tweak things and agreed on what's going to be reported out. So if you have children in different schools, you can expect kind of the same thing in terms of grading and reporting. That'll be the same in Eureka K-8. So there should be grades across the SUs, things that are reported out look very similar across the SU. So they worked on that. They'll have more time working on that this year, because they certainly didn't finish. Middle levels, starting the proficiency work. We were hoping, well, we partnered with the Agency of Education last year. We were involved in some participatory action research. with the Agency of Education and their staff. They came and helped our high school staff work on the proficiency work. We had a partnership for a second year with them. They were going to work with our middle school, and then late August, the Secretary of Education decided to pull that away, and we don't have that support, which is very disappointing. But Bridget, the new curriculum director, she's going to lead the middle school work, and the high school work is going to continue from last year as best we can. So that's where we're at curriculum wise. These are some of the sessions where staff in the elementary were working together. The big picture is we had one of our instructional team leaders do maybe a 90-minute session on the science of reading, which is required by the early literacy law that's in place now. So getting everybody up to speed on that. So we had a really positive and upbeat start of school. We're right in it now. Kids are, you know, I heard a couple of teachers saying yesterday, all right, the honeymoon's over. They've been here a couple weeks. So, but I was in classrooms here today and things were really running very well as they do here. The next thing I just wanted to share with you, I know this was talked about at the SU board retreat, but not everybody was able to be there. We are, the district quality standards are in play this year. We are going to be required to self-assess on some rubrics that have been worked on and will be provided from the agency. We'll have to do that work in between October and November. And the categories that we're going to be scoring under the district quality standards are business operations. And that's, you know, budgeting and accounting, all of those systems. We're in very good shape in the business operations department. Facilities management and safety is another category. Governance is another category. So when I get those rubrics, if I have questions around board, you know, work, I'll certainly bring that to you. The two areas in the education quality standards, which is EQS, that we're going to be scoring this year are the local comprehensive assessment system and continuous improvement. So the education quality standards are very lengthy, and they've pared it down just to two areas for us to reflect on this year. So that work will be happening in the near future. The next update, I just want to try to give a monthly update on Act 73. I don't have a lot of new information to share, but I think it's important that we share publicly what we know about this this law. So the redistricting task force has met. They meet again tomorrow, actually on the 10th, I believe. So the first meeting they had was on August 1st. It was a shorter meeting. They really kind of got themselves organized as a committee. They talked about what problems they're trying to solve and what the goals and commitments they are that they want to shape, you know, their decision making. And some of those areas were I put up here because I think they're important. Does their proposal, and they're tasked with going back to the legislature in December with 3 maps for redistricting. One of those maps has to include supervisory unions, which we are one. The other 2 do not. It's really unknown what those maps are going to look like at this point, but the things that are guiding that committee are, do their proposals ensure that every child has a fair chance? Do the proposals provide a path to better opportunities and outcomes? Because that was really what this legislation is supposed to be about. Does the proposal get more out of every dollar for Vermonters? And does the proposal preserve opportunities for public input and voice in schools? As you may or may not have heard, you know, depending on where the lines are drawn, there will be far less school boards across the state, and there is concern about local representation and local control being much less than it is currently. So that is something the committee is certainly talking about. The meeting they had on August 19th, it was a full day meeting. The meetings, just so you know, they are on the AOE website. You can certainly watch them live. You can watch recordings of them. They just posted the minutes from the August 19th meeting. They, part of the work, in part of doing their work, they need data to make some of these decisions. So they have requested data from the Agency of Education. I will show you just briefly. I'm not gonna go over it all, but I'll show you what it looks like. I'll share this tab instead. Let me scroll to the top here if I can. That's me. So this is the data that they are requesting from the agency, and it is pages long and it is public. I'm happy to share it with anybody that's interested. It's on their website. There's a whole like section on redistricting task force on the website, but it's very lengthy. It goes for pages and pages. From what I've heard, you know, it's going to be hard for the agency to produce all of this data that is needed to make these decisions. And so the task force, I'm still scrolling, sorry, get through. And part of this data has to come from, you know, the districts. And we don't all share the same reporting systems, and it's complicated and complex, but they need the data to make decisions. So they've asked for it. They also at that meeting talked about debating whether to rely more on that data, which they need, or to rely on state or district's preferences. I don't know what that means. I don't think anybody knows what that means. I do know that there are districts that are talking about, would it make sense for us to be one supervisory district or supervisory union or merge? And they are sharing this information with the task force. So that is where we're at with that. I do know that our district, sorry, I gotta let somebody in here. Our supervisory union is engaging in a meeting with any interested board members from Woodstock and Hartford, I believe on September 18th, to have a discussion on, is this something our districts or supervisory union, because Woodstock is a single district, Hartford is a single district, we are supervisory union, so the rules that guide us are different. We have choice, they do not. Those two districts do not have school choice. So there is a meeting, it will be a public meeting on September 18th to see if there is interest from those three entities, to see if there wants to be any working together, consolidating regional high school. I don't know, you know, kind of it's a open question. And I don't know if the task force is going to use that data or not, but certainly people are giving their input. I have a all-day superintendent's meeting on Thursday, and this will be our topic of discussion. So next month I might be able to share a little bit more information, but that's where we are at currently.
Could I ask a question on Act 3?
Sure.
Are you witnessing or seeing anxiety and
Yes.
concerns with your staff?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Is it affecting employment like you did?
I mean, people, when there's unknowns, people are worried. We have a part of this legislation that goes into effect next year. So part of our budgeting season this year, we have to input class size minimums. So there are some waivers available. It's a 3-year rolling average right now, but we're going to be looking at, are we meeting those minimums? And if not, what does that mean for staffing? So yeah, it is anxiety provoking.
And I think as the process starts to pick up steam and roll along, I think that anxiety is going to, so but I guess where I'm going with that is it's important that we keep as much in front of the staff as we can. So it doesn't look like anything's being washed.
No, we talked about it at the welcome back. I shared briefly a little bit in my, you know, the welcome that I give, and people were very appreciative, and I told them I would keep them updated. I send out a newsletter to the staff, so that's one way I can communicate with them. I meet with a faculty advisory council quarterly, and I'm sure that will be a topic of discussion at those meetings as well. Just, yeah, people don't know what's going to happen. Now, if the task force goes back in December to the legislature and they don't have a plan, none of this happens. And I think what they're trying to get to, once the districts are formed, they're going to impose the funding formula, and each student is going to, each student in your system will receive a certain, it's called the Education Opportunity Payment. It's, I think, 15,000 and change, which is a per student, amount that you'll get for every student in your district, whatever those look like. They can't implement that until the district, they say they can't implement that until the district lines are drawn and the districts are in place. And that's, I think, fiscal year 29 is the plan for the funding formula to go into place.
It's always going to be schools.
It's always going to be
The schools are always going to need teachers
Yep.
and support staff. I like the equation. It's sort of like shaking up a cage full of birds and see who lands on which perch. And as the process goes, there'll be more answers. Right now, there's very little answers.
There will, but I mean, I think we all know that when consolidation comes, there will be less people in the system.
Yeah.
So with class size minimums, there will be less people in the system. That's just part of it. I don't know what that means specifically here, but just in general, there are schools in the state that have class sizes of, 4 or 5 kids. So
I mean, our current minimums fall pretty close to.
we're pretty close at Weathersfield, pretty close, yeah.
Well, even if you look at our current enrollment, K through 5 is okay, but then 6 to 8, we're a little bit under. So how that sugars off,
Yeah.
it remains to be seen.
Yeah.
Whether you combine them into one big group or
If it's the
We
3-year
don't-
average, I think we're pretty good on the 3-year average, because we
Should
we have big and small grades, but
Should be. Yeah.
a 3-year average.
So Larry is working on, we actually started looking at those numbers last year, and he created Larry doesn't do anything with numbers, a spreadsheet that kind of plugs everything in and tells us where we're at, if we're over or under. And that was just in preparation because we anticipated this coming. So we do have that. He's updating it with the actual, we guessed on what the minimums would be. So now that we have them, we can plug them in and see where we're at. So, yeah. The only other slide I have, and I don't know if you want me to present it now or later, it's on the agenda for the SU budget committee update. It's just the timeline that we wanted Larry to create. So I'm happy to project it now and wait until you're.
You can do it now.
Okay, you can just leave it up there and you can.
So these are the meetings that Sarah attends.
These are, well, and the plan for the local budget timeline,
Oh,
because we want to make
okay.
sure we have it well in advance. So, oh, that's really small, I'm sorry. So let me see if I can you make it bigger? Okay, you just can't see across it, but I can explain it. So Larry's going to be working on prep for the SU budget and, starting prep on the local budgets. Currently, he starts with the SU first because he needs that to drive the local budget process. But the first SU draft budget presentation, well, I skipped something, I'm sorry. Initial SU department meetings, those will start Friday is our first SU budget meeting. And then we have one, I think, 2 weeks after that. And then we'll continue until he's finished. But he'd like to have a draft SU budget presentation done by 9/22. Very ambitious goal, but he's working because that needs to get done before the locals get done.
We're meeting Friday and the next Friday, the 12th and the 19th.
And the 19th. So he wants to have that. I don't know if we can button that up in 2 meetings, but that's Larry's goal. Then he would like the SU budget adopted by the end of October so that he can get started on the local budgets and have the first draft ready for the November board meetings. They won't be final, but at least drafts in front of the board to look at, and then have it local budget revisions until board adoption, which he's hoping will be by January 9th. That's his goal. And then you've got to prepare for the budget presentation after that. So, and we have to go to print. So I think that's kind of where we need to have the budget adopted by is early to mid-January. So your January board meeting essentially. We can always add more meetings if we need to. But that's his plan. And I apologize for being so small. I can make it a little bit. You can see across anyway.
So you haven't had a meeting yet, your first
No,
one?
the first one's on Friday
Friday.
morning.
Right.
Any questions for me?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so first on our items for discussion are our budget priorities. So I don't know if you've all had a chance to think about, where you'd like to see, efforts be placed as far as, if there's only so much money, what would your priority be? Just so we can kind of give Brian sort of an idea of where we're coming from. We feel like we need to vote on it. We won't vote on it, otherwise it's sort of a general idea. So I don't know, if you guys think somebody here wants to start, or? So I'll start if you guys want me to. My general goal is to not increase taxes by more than 10% in any one year. Another goal would be to keep current classroom sizes the same and keep staffing the same. Of course, building maintenance is important, keeping the building in good shape, be important to me. I guess those are like my top 3 priorities.
Did you say not to increase the budget by 1%?
No, by not more than 10%.
Oh, I thought you said one.
Not the budget, the tax rate.
Yeah,
Not the tax rate by more than 10%.
I thought you said one. I
Very difficult.
was gonna say, let's see that happen.
Dream on. The items you listed are, I think probably, at least from my standpoint, are the ones I would also list. What was the fund balance that was put towards the budget last year?
Oh, gosh, you had to ask.
Wouldn't that be exact? Sorry to put you on the spot.
Wasn't it like around 300,000 fund balance?
So what we had left over from the previous year?
Yeah, to go back
We didn't
into.
I don't
do any last
I
year.
think it was none last year.
Last year, FY 25.
It was none, or close to none,
Okay.
yeah. The year before, it was,
It was 200.
Yeah.
Because the preliminary numbers that we saw are just between 6 and 7% increase in spending. That isn't directly reflected in the tax rate, and especially if a fund balance was used to lower it last year.
Yeah, it was not last
And
year.
and
so
a
that's
a
it.
question for Christine.
We didn't have any money on
It was FY 24.
We're broke. Yeah.
FY 25, we had.
And this year, we're slightly in the negative, correct, this year? Our fund balance is slightly negative.
Yes, the special ed outlook is better. We should know soon, but you had an overage in your local budget by, I think it was like $60,000.
Oh, okay.
We had, some of that was, healthcare costs that just, we went over that in that line. And the other was the gym floor, which you took out, and it will get put back, from capital reserve back to the general fund, but that happens in, this year, not last, or I think it happens this year, not last year, so.
So the gym floor is being paid with capital reserves, not with budget? Is that what you're
The
saying?
gym floor you approved
For
for
capital.
capital, but it came out of the general fund, which
Okay.
makes it look like you were, had a deficit of 60,000, but 30 of that will get put back in the general fund.
Okay.
This year.
I would
That
say
makes
I
sense.
have written down 68,000 was the deficit
68.
at our last meeting,
Yeah.
yeah. So you're saying 30,000 of that is the gym floor?
Yes.
Right. The rest I think was,
68,000 in the current budget?
Yeah.
Or-
starting negative, yeah.
Yes.
And then it was special ed, which you would hope would be better.
The special ed is, the 68 is local.
Right.
So special ed could be in addition to that,
In
but it is
addition, yeah.
looking better. Yeah, we should know.
But this is plus 30,000 from the floor.
No, 68 includes the floor.
So we'll
Okay.
take 30,000.
It'll go
out,
back.
so-
Yeah,
It'll be
Yeah,
it'll be
right,
38.
38, yeah.
It'll end up being
Right around
38.
38, yeah.
Yes.
Which is not great, but it's,
Yeah.
not.
Sir, where did you get the 68? Because I was looking at the,
My notes.
No,
From
so
last
last
meeting.
meeting.
Last meeting.
Yeah.
We talked
I just-
about
But
it.
if you, the budget numbers we're given, a couple, yesterday shows, almost even. So I'm wondering where the discrepancy is.
What do you have?
Well, you'd have to go really dig deep into this to find those.
That wasn't
I mean,
anything official.
Yeah,
That
this
was,
is not, yeah. this is
that was
not-
just Christine kind of throwing out a number from Larry,
Yeah.
but things have obviously
Yeah,
This, I
improved.
think.
final numbers
Yeah.
aren't done until the
Yeah.
audit is done.
Right, I understand that.
So that was what his estimate was. It might be a little bit
Right.
different than that. And you've got in front of you FY 25 and then actuals.
Right.
Yeah,
And then FY 26.
Yeah, so
which I assume are reasonably accurate, but not audited.
Correct.
And,
So we
last
spent less than we
I
budgeted,
heard
which
on
is
the,
nice.
special ed it was calendar about 400.
It may be better than that, actually.
Yeah,
So we're waiting for, final revenue to come in from the state. Those take a while to trickle in. Those are essentially, reimbursements for out-of-district placements, those kinds of funds are still coming in. So, I think he said, well, the audit, begins end of September, and I think those funds were due in September, so we should know everything, should be closed up by October, November, the latest.
are you hearing any red flags from AOE, regarding what's going on in Washington? In other words, that's all gonna trickle down
Yeah.
to this role.
Yes, not AOE, but from VSA. We are concerned that, it looks like Idea B, which is special ed grant funding, will be okay. Title, 1 will be okay. Title 2, 3, and 4 are probably gonna disappear,
Okay.
and that does impact us. We fund, professional development out of Title 4. We fund part of our curriculum director's salary out of Title 2. So we're thinking about what we should do about that, in this budget season. So that's what I've heard. Medicaid is still, seems okay at the moment. Medicaid, special ed Medicaid reimbursement funds. Have you heard anything else?
And traditionally, in the past, when do we know we set within reason, the special ed deficit? I mean, I understand, I talked to Larry and I understand the money comes in and
Yeah.
you really don't know how much but
I-
at some point, it's
It's
gotta.
final, yeah. And I think
I'll know by the next meeting.
Yeah.
Probably from
we should know by the next
From-
meeting. Yeah,
the next two meetings,
yes,
right?
yes,
Good.
By October.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's still moves.
yeah, fingers crossed.
Back when we really didn't know.
I hope so.
I mean, it was better,
better.
what was it? 1.2 in January. It was terrifying,
Yeah, it was ugly. So,
especially, yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, watching what other school districts
Or the
are going through, it's, yeah. Yeah, but we have a really, really strong, very skilled business department, and I feel very confident in them. So, hopefully you do as well. They do know what they're doing. We have a comptroller who, balances to the penny. We were, we were having lunch the other day and kind of joking around a little bit, and the payroll person, Jordan, who's also the interim HR director, is still doing payroll. They were, bantering about the 5 cents that, was off, and I said, how like close do you have to get, Deanna? And she was like, oh, to the penny. Like, I was like, okay, good. So that's a good thing. So I'm just gonna text Larry and see if there's still a deficit, and I'll let you know what I hear. Yeah.
Anyone else have any particular, priorities to guide Brian in his budgeting?
I think you called the major ones. I know last time when we were looking at potential cuts, we were looking at, kind of the cleanliness of school and custodians and those pieces. And I do think like there's a lot of pride in having a clean school. And so I think that is important. And I will say I just want to kind of echo what you're saying about the tax rate. The budget passed by 13 votes. Great, it passed, but 13's not a lot. So we really, if we do want to get this through, I think some of this is how it's communicated. And I know we talked to Larry about that last time, like how can we get this out to the community in a way that's not so confusing? And if it is an increase, really make sure everyone understands like what those increases are. And it's not just buying more for the school. A lot of it, right, was increase in healthcare costs, et cetera. So I think it's important to note it's spending is out of our hands.
I'm just hoping that we can start with a budget that reflects exactly what this school needs to begin with. I know there might be cuts after that, but I just think that we have to go for what we need to continue on the path that we're on, regardless of what people feel about the tax rate, regardless of what people feel about spending. This is super important here. So I think, you know, this committee and the BAC and Brian in particular, like you need to tell us what we absolutely need, whether or not we're gonna like it in the end. But we have to start somewhere. So
I think it might also be good to have like a tiered, I know we did this previously, I don't know, I know Jean Marie, where we had like A, B, and C budgets. So that then when we did get those final numbers in, we then could pick which one was the one.
Yeah.
But there was like a dream budget, there was a what we need budget, and then there was a, you know, the least we can do with kind of budget. Yeah.
We can do that.
Anything else? Anybody want to talk about?
Just one of the little piece of not so good news is that the CLA has continued to tick down. It's down to 64%.
Oh, yes. Wow.
And that, when they run it through the math, I don't understand how that system was set up, why it would affect it, but it does.
And I haven't seen any auditors yet. I think, when is the audit happening?
It's happening.
I thought it was like this, yeah, right now.
It is
It's
taking
been
place?
really-
Okay, they just haven't been in my house yet.
And you just be all, you don't know when they are, because if you're not there, they'll leave something hanging on your doorknob.
Okay.
So it's actively started.
Yes.
And
It won't affect this year though, it'll be effective for next year.
the reappraisal,
It'll take you a good year to.
the reappraisal has started, but you can't expect any effect on it until 28.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And this year's budget 26.
7.
27. Okay. All right, so we got 1 year. Okay. 1 year to
They're
get
real
through.
fast.
Okay. All right. Everybody good? Okay. All right, we'll, so here. And then the other thing, as far as budgeting goes is, so Jim asked us to approve, the 17,000 for the circulation pump out of the capital reserve budget. And current balance of the capital reserve budget is $328,043.44.
This chart does not reflect the gym floor.
Oh, okay, so the gym floor has to come out of there too?
The gym floor was not, so technically, this is, your 5-year plan, and you approved it in 2022. And the gym floor was not part of that plan, so it's not in there, it's been,
Will it affect the current balance?
yes, it will affect the current balance, but it just wasn't in this plan.
Okay, so how much comes out of the current balance?
290.
It was, the gym floor was 30, right?
Yeah, it's 32, something like that. I can look back.
So you're around 300,000 now.
Okay. Gym floor. So, and then as far as I like to have a good capital reserves budget just in case something major was to happen. I guess it'd be good to have Jim. Is there anything like major that we need to worry about that might cost $250,000?
I think we did the walkthrough, and I think I felt comfortable with that and with what he was saying today. It's all unknown. We're gonna
Yeah.
spend it
And
regardless
then,
when it happens,
yeah,
so.
and then the other thing think about the capital reserve fund is what happens to that when this redistricting takes place? Like, should we might as well just spend it? I mean, I don't want to do that now because who knows if that's even gonna happen. It's still up in the air. That whole redistricting thing might not even end up working out. So, okay, so I guess I will take a motion to approve the request for $17,000 out of the capital reserve fund for a new circulator pump rebuild / replacement.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there any discussion? I guess I'll do a roll call since this is money. So Megan? Sarah? Aye. John?
Aye.
Vincent?
Aye.
And I'm also an aye.
Great, now that to know.
We know Jim's not a spend a buck, so we can trust his opinion.
Well, this is what we asked him for.
Yeah,
so
we
that's-
asked him for it, and yeah.
It's good.
Okay, up next is the SU budget. Oh, wait, no, we aren't gonna have that because we haven't had a meeting yet, so we'll save that for next meeting. And we also had already discussed the BAC recruitment and meeting date. So we have.
On that note, should we, as the board, make a,
Yeah, I was wondering,
plan on
should we
which
do like
person should be attending?
should we do a
which
Google
meeting?
Doc online and just kind of like up to 2 people can sign up for any of the meetings? I know I'm not gonna be able to probably do any of them, given the times, unless they do one later in the day, like after 4:30, I can't do 9:30 to 10:30.
Well, if 2 of you want to sign up, or up to 2 of you want to sign up for the first meeting, and then we can go. from
And then
there
we'll do a
make sure
Google
that
poll
that
for
time-
there and make sure that anybody who wants to.
So I'll know who to
Get it on
include
there.
on the link. You can include all of you in the link, but just not.
So
all of you.
the first meeting is Thursday, 9/18. Who here is
I'll do
available and would
that.
like to? Okay, Megan and Vincent?
Sure.
Okay. And then we'll go from there.
Do you want Larry's response about the deficit?
Yep.
He just text me back. He says, it looks like it'll be a slight deficit / surplus per what I put on the pre-audited number. I put on the website 9.2, anywhere from 25K surplus to 25K deficit, but that could change obviously, so,
So we don't know.
But that is 68.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
All right, so then we have the fundraising approval for the music department. I'll take a motion to approve the music department's bake sale.
I'll make a motion.
Lindsay, and any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. And then we have 8th grade fundraisers. I know there are a couple of
2
them.
of them, yeah, the
The raffle
raffle and
and
the basket drawing,
the basket drawing. Okay,
one in the winter, one in the
so
spring.
Megan would like to make that motion. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that is unanimous also. Do we have any need for executive session? Okay, and then, so we have setting the next agenda. So I am not available on October 14th. I'll be out of town. So, you guys can either have the meeting without me in October, or we can change the date. How people feel?
Do you want to know what's kind of on the
Yeah,
agenda right now?
what are we planning? So it's gonna be some budget stuff,
It's
right?
quarterly financials, SU budget committee update, and BAC update is what we have right now. Was, could be more, but right now that's what we have. That season.
Yeah. I mean, if it can be worked out for another date, but if it really seems hard and people aren't available on a different date in October, I can just catch up. But, see, would October 7th work for anyone? Especially you, Christine. I don't know if there are other boards that have meetings.
Heartland on the 7th, yeah.
Oh, no.
7th.
And
Okay,
Nana Scottney on the 6th, or 6th and 7th.
You're
So,
not able to be virtual.
no, not on the
Okay,
14th, I'll
okay.
be driving
Oh,
that day. So I could be available on the 15th. Or the 8th.
Even those looking like.
Not the eighth, not the eighth.
Not the eighth, okay. How are people for the 15th of October?
I can't do Wednesdays or Thursdays.
Oh, you
Not
can't
that
do-
close.
Oh, okay. All right, so if it doesn't work out, then
For the
just do the
January
14th,
24th?
and I will catch up.
And you're the vice chair, right?
Yep.
You-
So Vince will take care of the meeting.
Okay.
I won't be here on the 14th.
Okay,
I'll
So
send you the
then we
recording.
have
You
a,
want me to do?
recording,
I
okay.
can do the recording, it's just my son will be here from North Carolina.
Family first.
Thursday,
Yeah.
just in Gonzales.
I'll send you the recording.
I just don't want to do
All right, so, is there anything else besides what Christine just discussed that we need to put on the agenda? Does anyone have anything? I guess we want to make sure that, there's time for, because I'm sure some board members will go to the pod drop. So, sure that gets added to the, is actually on the agenda. And
Do you
John,
want-
you're gonna have another history lesson?
Probably.
Okay.
Do you want, the pod drop as an item for discussion?
No,
Board
just
engagement?
the board engagement, yeah, board
I'll
engagement.
make sure that's on the agenda for next time.
Anything else anyone can think of on that? I think the budget at this point is front and center for the next few months, so. Yeah. All right, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make one. Okay. Go ahead.
John makes a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. And,